Fathers have an important role to play in supporting mothers in the first 5 years of a child's life. But after that, the focus shifts.
Yep.
The father becomes a primary voice of impact to the child's life.
And guys, in these years, impact is made by the example the father provides through his own life and in what he speaks.
The identity and the unique significance of the child is developed in these years if the fathers are involved and connected and invested into this child's life.
Definitely.
In this session, clear guidelines will be provided on how to guide your child to maximum potential and growth.
So one thing is certain, children need present and connected fathers.
We now move from the embrace of the mother to the shoulders of the father. And what a beautiful metaphor that is.
Did you know that how a child sees his or her father at the age of 6, it defines how this individual sees God when he's grown up. So it's no indifferent how our children see us when they are small.
So at the age of about 6 or 7, we need to teach them competencies and discipline. We teach them things like cleaning up behind themselves, like making their bed. Dad can teach them how to wash the dishes or how to pack the dishwasher. It's also very important at this stage to create boundaries, to give them a clear framework within which they can operate. And it makes them feel a lot safer and secure to know what the boundaries are. My 6-year-old loves operating on the boundaries, and what he does do is when he gets close to a boundary, he looks over his shoulder to see whether his mom or dad are looking, and if we make eye contact, he tells us that he is going to be very careful. We need to affirm them in this age. Have you seen the transformative effect of telling a boy how strong he is, or a girl how beautiful she is? We need to affirm our children. Then at the age of 8, they start realizing that they are more than just physical.
Body, soul, spirit is around age 8. And sexuality is around age 9. Identity, values, friends, and choices come after that at ages 10 to 11 and forward. For example, when my other son, I have 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters. When my other son was 8 years old and I was saying him good night one night, I realized that there was something wrong. So after I had said good night, I went back to him and said that, have you seen something that you shouldn't have seen? And there it was. His friends at school had shown him some pictures from phone that he really shouldn't have seen, and even he wouldn't have wanted to see those, but his friends just showed him those. So world is a very frightening place for our little children, as we know, and mobile devices play a large role in this because they have access to everything in their pockets, whether they should or not. That's another case. But we must be courageous in speaking about sexuality, for example, to our children from a very early age.
Then at age 9, girls start to reach puberty and it's time to have the sex education talk. They say 8 is too late, so if you haven't had the talk by 8, 9, they probably have heard it from someone else. It's important that the dad takes responsibility for having the talk with the son and the mom has the talk with the daughter. And then at age 10 to 11, it's time to prepare them for the group adventure phase.
And it is shocking how we can see how actually brain pictures can show us that the distracting effect of digital devices, for example. If a child is very aggressive because of playing a lot with games, and not responding to our conversations or something, it can really be that their brains are actually damaged because of this dopamine rush that is going on all the time there. But what is good, our brains are able to recover if we cut this cord.
And for many of us, as we're filming this, we are battling the COVID-19 pandemic, and we've allowed our kids a lot more screen time because they haven't been to school, they haven't had extramural activities or sports. And in order for us to cope, we allowed them more screen time. But Brad Huddleston writes a lovely book called Digital Cocaine, and explaining the impact of excessive media consumption.
Digital cocaine is dopamine, this hormone. It's dopamine circuitry that is activated and causes addiction. New breed of psychiatric problems develop, and disciplines to solve the problems are also introduced in this book. It recommends, this Brad Huddleston in this book, that only dumb phones for our children before high schools, and stop using devices 2 hours before bedtime. No media technology in room. And exercise. Go outside.
Spend time outside playing and exercising, so that those chemicals can be released that trigger positive emotions.
There are 5 different things that a father should do to his children. Affirmation by father to establish unique significance. Consciousness of spiritual reality grows from 6 to 11 years old. Sex education, needed before sexual development starts. So we get conversations with our children before it's actually happening in their own bodies. Emotion regulating skills, needed to cope with emotional stress. And 5th, clear sense of personal identity needed before the group identity phase.
Who am I? What do I stand for? How do I make decisions? What makes a good friend? How can I be a good friend? How do I choose my friends? How do I form deep, meaningful relationships? You know, when my kids ask me a question and I don't have the answer, they very quickly tell me to go and Google it. Well, these aren't Google-type knowledge questions. It's not the type of question Google can answer. It's wisdom questions that require many years of experience and also require you knowing your child and being able to connect the dots to tell them and teach them how to answer these questions, these knowledge-type questions. So this pandemic has really given us, many fathers, the opportunity to spend more time with our children and to make a bigger impact in molding our children. And I think let's make sure that we grab this opportunity and let it not go past to make a meaningful impact in our children's lives.